at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City, welcome to the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. We are on a Monday schedule today, even though it's Tuesday, because Brian Kelly's press conference will be in the middle of today's show, as everybody took the Labor Day weekend off yesterday. Well, not everybody, but we'll do the press conference at its normal time. We'll go to out to LSU at 11:40, and then we'll come back and finish up the show from about 12:30 to 1. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Early.
Yeah, we got an early start here at Doe's Eat Place, but we're glad that you're with us. We're going to do first class, second class, no class today a little bit later on. You can it's going to be about the first week of college football, of course. And just when you thought, well, there was the worst performance relative to expectations over the weekend from prominent teams. The worst.
It's Alabama.
Alabama, yeah. I don't think there's any question. And just when you thought that, that's about as bad as you can look from a hustle standpoint, a prep standpoint, just being blasted by a team that you were 2-touchdown favorite over. Here comes North Carolina last night, who was not favored in the game, and was not. I don't know that we had a good handle on North Carolina's personnel. I don't think I didn't. I kind of made this pick blind, thinking that Bill Belichick would improve things. Pretty good coach. That they turned over 70 players. Okay, so they turned over 80% of the roster. But Belichick has the Iron Curtain up. So, unlike here where we've got or have had since Brian Kelly got here, nearly unprecedented access for this time of our lives, North Carolina, stayed away behind a cloak of anonymity because that's how Bill operates. So we didn't really know what to expect last night completely. They'll be better coached. They did not look better coached. They did not look, for the amount of hype that was there. The stadium was full. They did the concert before. It's a standalone game. It's Labor Day night. The stars were out. I mean, it's a pretty striking image when you see Michael Jordan and Lawrence Taylor in one of the suites, okay? Two of the all-time greats, maybe arguably the greatest players in their respective sports. Jordan may be the best basketball player of all time. Taylor may be the best defensive player in the history of the NFL.
They are for my money.
Yeah, and you're sitting there looking at them, shaking hands and watching the game. Okay, that's pretty strong. And then North Carolina gets the first possession. They go through the TCU defense like nobody's business. It's 7-0, and whoo! This is going to be great. And from that point forward, TCU.
No, they got to stop.
I'm sorry, they got to stop after that. That's right.
They got to stop too.
And then from that point on, TCU stomped a mud hole in North Carolina. You brought up a good comparison on our text thread.
It's good and bad.
Well, it was the Saints' first ever playoff game against Minnesota, where they went up 7-0 and then got completely annihilated the rest of the way.
The comparison there is I was there, and it was so much excitement. There was so much build-up. There was so much, and we thought we were good. It was a tough place to play, and this was just a formality, and it was going to be a collision course till we meet the 49ers in the conference championship game. And Saints were 12-3.
They were 12. The second best record in NFL that year.
13-2 and 12-3. And Bobby Hebert hits Eric Martin. I'm sitting in the load section in that corner right below us. 7-0. I mean, boom. And we're not a high-scoring team that year. I mean, the place was going bananas. And then we got mauled.
Right.
We got mauled. I mean, including to finish off the half where you're like, oh, we got to get to half and just try and regroup. Oh, no, to finish off the half with a Hail Mary for 50 yards, another touchdown for the Vikings. And I think you went to half like 26-7,
that sounds
something
right.
like that. because it was so much build-up. So it was like, phew, you talk about air out the balloon. And like it was, and Chapel Hill is a cool place, man. It's a really cool place. Forever, Kinnick Stadium, they wouldn't build this. They could only build the stadium as high as the trees.
I didn't know
was,
that.
Yeah.
Okay,
that was
okay.
like in the 70s and 80s, and so they waited till the trees. They always wanted to have it just, they've got potential. You've heard people talk about they're more desirable than maybe a Clemson or Florida State, because they just, it can be, but they've never. Mac Brown's 1 year when they were like 10-1, lost to Florida State, but couldn't compete with Florida State. That's maybe the best team. They just haven't had, and so they go gimmick. They go gimmick with Belichick and bring Belichick, out of retirement. He couldn't get it and then the shenanigans start, and we wonder just what percentage of Bill Belichick are they getting. And it's an easy correlation. Well, no, Bill Belichick hasn't forgotten how to coach. That's the thing. Did it catch your attention pregame when he went over to the ESPN game day site? Basically, they were in the stadium as opposed to just being on campus. Their pregame, it was, I don't know, call it NFL Live Monday. It was their Monday night countdown, college style, whatever. They do it for some of the bowl games, the premier bowl games. He's shaking hands and kind of taking pictures with people.
He did a lot of what you call glad handing in pregame, which he never does. Okay, or we've never seen him do.
So McAfee's chewing it up, photo op for him.
Yeah.
This is right up his alley. And Desmond Howard, even, I don't know if he just included himself or photo bombing him or both, but kind of getting in the back of the picture. And Belichick and Saban, who know each other longer than anybody there. Brewski was there, and he was all in it. Hey, Bill, it shakes his hand, but kind of like this puzzled expression,
you don't do this.
Like, I don't want to speak. The optics tell me he's a little off. This is not you.
Right.
Kind of dig. He's not a glad hander.
Right.
No,
and
no.
What, I'll tell you what I thought when I saw that, because, yes, it did catch my attention. How could it not? Belichick never does that. I thought, okay, you have to do that, not necessarily the ESPN part, but the –
you better go buy
you better go
10
find
best boosters
your
and go shake their
your
hands.
boosters. You got to take pictures. You got to shake hands. You got to kiss babies. And I thought, okay, he's embracing that. He's mingling. Okay, he didn't have to do with the ESPN people, but you're right. The boosters, the golf coach at North Carolina, whatever.
Charlie, you ever been around a coach on game day?
Yeah, of course.
They got a million things going through their mind.
They do.
This is not. You have your obligatory exchange with the two head coaches before they do some small talk. It's like 5 minutes, but it's no. Leave me alone on game day, man. Leave me alone on game day.
This
is not the focus, the ultra focused, typical coach Belichick. This was different. I'm sorry. It's easy to correlate them, and I'm not saying that's their only problems, because their problems their absolute biggest problem is their roster. The roster's the biggest
and we're
problem.
going to get to that, but I thought it was him saying, okay, you know what? I can't do like I did in the NFL and just block everybody out.
Charlie, from
I got to go do some
high
of this
to
stuff.
the NFL, don't mess with a coach on game.
They don't want to do it, Jimmy, but they have to. I mean,
they don't. He didn't have to go do that.
Not the ESPN part.
No, he didn't.
But
so what are you talking about?
I'm talking about you have to schmooze a little bit.
Not during game day.
On game,
no, you don't. You don't.
But
you're telling me Nick Saban on game before the game. Now he used to have them cats that come to his house on Highland Road after the game, but not before the game. No,
on the field, there's a little schmoozing. Yeah, I've been down on the LSU field before the game, and it's a little schmoozing. Is it to the extent that
he went out of his way? They didn't
yes, he did
him.
because it was the first game, and it was a big deal on campus. Did he have to? No, he could have not done it. I thought it was him saying, "Okay, you know what? I got to play this a little bit different." Now,
you didn't see Saban's reaction when he came over and took pictures with him.
I didn't notice that. I didn't look at Saban's face.
Not saying that it's. I read into it like everybody else is going crazy. Saban knows him longer than anybody, and like it was just kind of like, okay, kind of. It was.
He's been doing things different since he got to North Carolina than he did at New England, and you can, is it because of who he's dating? He never let anybody dominate an interview like he let her do that with that CBS thing. He's done a lot of things different, better for worse. Okay, let's talk about the roster for a second. He completely overhauled this thing. Now, how much budget did he have to work with, and how much
had the quarterback
time,
$2 million,
and how much time did he have to?
He got the job in mid-December.
To really, okay? Can you can turn it all over, but can you turn it all over? How much time did he have to evaluate every one of those players that he brought in? How many of them were okay? This is what's left. This is what I can reasonably get at this point, because they turned over most of the roster. Deion turned over most of the roster in Colorado. They went from 1 win to 4.
He would have had to. He would have had to take some guys from other staffs who had been evaluating other rosters to begin with. That's a very late start if you bring in Lombardi and some other people who haven't been on this specific beat, evaluating current players in college football that not going to the draft, not losing, that's going to still have some eligibility that might be able to be attainable for you. Yeah, I'd say they got a very late start with that, and it shows. I don't know the 80 people on his entire staff. I know Lombardi. I know he and Lombardi were in contact for years and had basically devised an outline of, a detailed outline of whether it's an NFL or a college team of what they needed from them, as far as, staff, budget, the whole, just all that stuff. But I'm sure when North Carolina thought they didn't think they were going to get this circus. That's obvious, and how much is distraction in the offseason, how much it applies. When he's coaching, he didn't forget how to block and tackle. And that just roster. They were sky high, and they came back to earth real quick, and to the tune of 532 to 222 in yards. And TCU tried to take their foot off the gas.
Yeah,
TCU bit the bullet last year. They're improved just how much. They got a kid that can make all the throws, but TCU's. We don't know. Can TCU be in Arizona State this year and we look differently on this game?
They were a 9-4 team a year ago. It's not like they were bad.
They were 9-4 last year.
Yeah, they were 9-4. So it's not like this is a bad team.
No. I thought they were closer to 500. I'm sorry.
The biggest surprise to me of the whole night was how poor the fundamentals were on defense. North Carolina, TCU ran it was 7 yards of carry, and it felt like 17. There were guys going to make tackles that looked like they had no interest.
But the first couple of drives were fine, and then it was just kind of once it broke loose, Charlie. It was you want to. My point is, go back and watch the first couple of drives. They were actually doing some resistance. They were hitting some people when the tight end caught the ball. They popped it pretty good. It was. And, man, once the floodgates opened, it was ugly, man. Like you said, they're making runs. They're not getting touched till the safeties.
It looked like a lot of some of those Alabama plays in the second half against Florida State, where they just didn't look real interested in making a tackle.
It was worse than that.
No, it was
worse
awful.
than that. It's just Alabama. We expect a lot more out of them right now. That's right.
The line yesterday is like, when Orangeburger came in here, it immediately became that professionalism. And,
that's my words.
Yeah.
They were more buttoned up.
And
they were more organized. And they were blocking and tackling, and they were just
that didn't happen last night.
No, it did not. Risher was on that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. Rish was that was Wickersham. That was Wickersham. Rish finished in 82.
Okay. Stovall was his last coach?
Stovall was, yeah. And Stovall coached 1 year after that.
And ironically, a key hire on that staff was Mac
Brown. Yeah, to be the quarterback's coach in 82. That was a huge deal for that Orange Bowl team.
Yuck.
That was bad.
At the beginning, I got to tell you, at the beginning, I'm like, because I took Clemson to win the ACC. And I like their number to win the ACC more than I do them getting to the playoff, if that makes sense. So it's just a better price. But I'm like, man, this trip to Chapel Hill might be tougher than I thought. Oh, no, we're fine.
I felt very good after the first about my pick. Not so much about an hour later.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a game like just flip like that. Wow. I mean, and it was just the outlier was the beginning. There's no doubt. We're over here at Doe's for lunch today. Don't forget that their Monday through Friday lunch specials are available 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sandwiches like the club, the hamburger, chicken sandwich. You can get the chicken sandwich grilled, fried, blackened on a brioche bun. Hot chicken sandwich, that's fried and dipped Nashville style. You can dress it up with all kinds of cheeses, bacon, onions, garlic, aiolis, chili, you name it. Po' boys. Do you see shrimp, catfish, or broiled shrimp po' boys? Debris po' boy also with the dark brown gravy served on New Orleans French bread with provolone and garlic, horseradish, aioli. Meatball po' boy is really good. Black and blue po' boy, that's the blue cheese melted over thin sliced steak with garlic, horseradish, aioli. Our salads are we got a chef salad and we got the grilled steak salad. You can do a chef salad or you can do the salad with grilled or blackened chicken or fried or broiled shrimp. And our plate lunches that are, they are generous portions, to say the least. Spaghetti and meatballs, hamburger steak, fried catfish platter, or the country fried steak. The hamburger steak, you can get that with the mashed potatoes or the hand-cut fries. Hand-cut fries are best in town. They're not greasy. They're just really, really good, man. They're addictive. Over here, that's a lunch menu available Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com. That's brought to you by Supreme Rice and also on LouisianaSports.net. We'll also have a new Handy Cash drop tonight with some film study along with Richard Dixon. The Saints have made a move in their front office. This is extremely interesting to me. The Saints are bringing in former Falcons GM Thomas Dimitroff, who was there from 2008 to 2020. The Falcons had a pretty good run, especially at the beginning and towards the middle of Dimitroff's run. He was the guy that drafted Matt Ryan. He was the guy that brought in Mike Smith to be the coach, and they ran off the first 5 years, 11-5, 9-7, 13-3. 10-6, 13-3. He was the architect of the Julio Jones trade, which turned out to be a very good one for Atlanta. Jones was an all-timer. They went through two losing seasons and a 500 season in the mid-2000 teens, and then the 2016 team, of course, made it all the way to the Super Bowl and had the 28-3 lead. I'm sure you know about that. They had another winning season in 2017 before they tailed off 7-9, 7-9. He was fired after the 2020. That was the COVID year. They went 4-12. He got fired. Dan Quinn got fired. Draft history, there's some really good stuff in there. Matt Ryan is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. The Julio Jones trade turned out very, very well for Atlanta. He drafted well enough to keep them relevant. They had way more winning seasons than losing seasons under him, and they were up 25 points in the Super Bowl. Saints fans love to regale in that collapse, but that was a really good Falcons team that year. They blasted the Packers in the NFC Championship game. They blasted the Seahawks in the first game, and they were blasting the Patriots right up to the point where they threw up on themselves. But he wasn't bad. And, Jimmy, if they're not going to get rid of Mickey Loomis, and we kind of feel like, he's a made man, then get him some help. I don't see where this can do anything but help, given how the Saints have drafted since that 2017 Giant Haul, where that 2017 draft was an all-timer, but since then it's been statistically they are the worst drafting team in the NFL since 2018. That's documented. I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but they drafted one Pro Bowler in 7 years. So this can't hurt. How much influence he's going to have, how much decision-making he's going to have, I don't know. But this guy ran a pretty good ship for a dozen years in the division that the Saints are playing in. So if they're not going to fire Mickey Loomis, I'm not turning down any help.
I guess if he's got to stay around, you get somebody to do his job. I mean, I bet how do we know? How do we know if he's coming in, and just how much input he has? Who knows? But
because a lot of this has got to be at the feet of Jeff Ireland too, because he's the director of personnel.
With the guys doing a poor job, just get rid of him.
Well, but they're not going to.
You're going to have to eventually.
Yes,
okay,
eventually.
Or give him a severance, or to throw him a party, do it nice. Borrow the balloons from Chapel Hill, whatever. It could help some. It might not, but just again, it's just another reminder to me of how BS this organization is being run. No, if you need somebody to do the guy's job, would you just replace him? He can stay in the will. He's got to get out of this job. Nobody with his track record in this league is staying there, minus Jerry Jones.
There's what I wish, and then there is reality.
There's two scoreboards, right? You said is that basically a GM scoreboard? Only one Pro Bowler that's last in the league, the last seven drafts?
Yes.
All right. What's the other one? Is the cap space?
Yeah.
That's a scoreboard, huh?
Yeah.
Last by a lot.
And then the win-loss record, which is not at the very bottom of the league, but is rapidly approaching.
Yeah, once Peyton and Breeze left, you can't win anything. So it's
like I said, there's what I wish and there's what's reality. I wish the Saints would have had a high enough draft choice last year to draft a quarterback, but they didn't. So they drafted an offensive lineman who looks like he's going to be pretty good. I wish that there was a different general manager, but given that that's not going to happen, this can't hurt. They can't do any worse. I don't know if it's going to help enough, but this guy's made some good moves. He had the Falcons in pretty good position for a long time. That was a good. So
the timing to bring him in.
Yeah, I don't know how much impact he can have right now.
Is he evaluating college prospects?
Is
he evaluating the start of the season, evaluating others for possible trades or free agent acquisitions?
Well, what I hope he's doing is scouting the draft. Scouting as bad as they've been in the draft. I hope that he's brought in to scout college players the whole season and make draft. Now, is he going to make any impact on this season? No.
The season started last Saturday.
Nick Underhill's saying that he's been around a ton this offseason already, and he was at Metairie for camp and out in L.A. for those joint practices.
You got virtually the whole college football
because
season.
The timing, it's kind of a little weird. So they wanted to bring him in, kind of get familiar with him. Lord knows we don't want anybody who's going to not blend in.
Right. Don't shake anything up.
I'm sorry, Charlie. It's just it is what it is, man. No, it should not be impossible to relieve Mickey Loomis of his duties.
It shouldn't.
It should,
but it is. Maybe one day it won't be.
So.
No, well, I hope not. But all evidence to the contrary. You said it yourself. He would have been gone a long time ago with any other ownership group.
But maybe Dennis Allen would have been gone long ago too. When that was up to Loomis, and she did step in front.
She did.
She can't.
Yes, I'm hopeful that this guy gets at the end of the season. Here's the thing. At the end of the season, maybe Mickey says, "You know what? It's time for me to retire." And this guy has been in the building for 6 months. Okay, you're our guy
because he wants to fix it. I don't care who you. Give me the best front office in the league. This is a hard fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you brought Baltimore's front office in,
give me the best front office in the league, and this is a hard fix. So this is like taking the Vanderbilt job. I mean, it's like you.
No, you're starting from below rock bottom, pretty much.
Okay, so it's a lose for most of the things. So he's hurting his legacy where he's trying to correct it, and that to me is delusion.
Maybe
If he'd have stepped aside earlier, his legacy would have been protected a little bit more. He'd have got out at the right time.
Right. Maybe Mickey's lasting gift to the Saints is he essentially hired his replacement 6 months before he takes the job. Now, Dimitroff, to be fair, has been out of the league for 4 years. He's not been in the league since he left the Falcons in 2020. He interviewed for the Jets job. He interviewed for the Titans job. He didn't get either one.
So what they did was they came in and brought him, say, come hang around. We'll vet you.
Okay.
To make sure, kind of care. That's normal. I get it, but the other half of this whole equation, why are you coming in? Why don't you vet your current employees as much as you do the guys you're bringing in?
I'm not saying he's going to fix anything short term or long term. All I'm saying is any move that keeps Mickey Loomis from making any more draft choices or have some other influence other than him making draft choices, I'm all for. I'm willing to try.
Yeah, you think you're getting that with this?
I don't know. I know he's qualified. I know he's had success before in this division to boot. So, yes, at this point, if I can't have a new general manager, then I'm willing to try this. Yes.
Don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive on Seagan Lane, Seagan near Perkins Road. It's the only place I take my vehicle. It's that engine light comes on. We're not trained mechanics. Got to bring it in to get it evaluated. But you hesitate because, oh, man, those horror stories of people being upcharged for unnecessary work, not going to happen. Jason Payne is going to do everything he can to try and find a repair option before a more costly replace option. But if it is that important to the safety of your vehicle, no, of course he's going to inform you of that. But he's going to do everything he can to give you the best deal around. That's why he has so much return business. So anything, electronic, AC service, undercar services, tires, electrical belts, hoses, or this engine light, just an oil change. K&M Automotive on at 8445 Seagan Lane near Perkins, right across Seagan from Ambrosia Bakery, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch, first class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class. I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, and no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
And return here at Doe's Eat Place. Again, our schedule is a little bit scrambled today because of the Tuesday press conference instead of the Monday press conference because of Labor Day. So we move first class, second class, no class into this segment. All right, first class. We start with Lee Corso. Max, his 6-team picks all hit. Had some underdogs.
16?
6-0.
They're
6-0. 6 teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some underdogs in there, including an outright winner with Florida State. What if you played Corso's 6-team parlay? What did it pay?
87-1.
Nice.
Not bad for your last go at it. By the way, second class, if you want to throw in there, he picked LSU to win it all, as I know a lot of people have pointed out this week. So
we hope that he's perfect, right? That he gets them. Did he get them all right?
What a way to go out, huh?
I thought it was well done. I thought it was nice. I didn't think it was too over the top. Kudos to Ohio State for doing a real nice job with that thing. I loved my favorite segment was when they brought Fowler back, and it was Herbstreit, Davis, Fowler, and Corso, and they just kind of sat there and talked and told stories basically for 15 minutes. I thought that was really good.
Bring in the. Yeah,
because Fowler was there for so long.
Absolutely.
And, so I like that segment. That was probably my favorite, and I thought they did a nice job with it. And it was, like I said, it wasn't too over the top. I liked everything about it.
Well, it's time.
Yes.
It's been time, and you want to try and. I'll tell you one thing he does, man. Son of a gun, he's a sharp dresser, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been sharp, man. And the other thing is, did you notice that Fox's pregame, it's a Fox game, they still cut in for his headgear.
I didn't. I
They
wasn't
covered
watching.
it. Yes.
I know.
So, at this point, we don't act like the other one doesn't exist. And so, or if you're in it for college football, I thought it was a step in the right direction for Fox, if you ask me.
And they had
I thought it was
Bear over there and Tom Rinaldi, who both worked on game day for a while.
They did.
They came over and did something.
Yes.
They did a segment, too, I think, on during the show.
Yeah.
So well done all the way around. First-class performances, LSU, Miami, Florida State, Tulane. With Boise State's loss, bad loss, 34-7. And Tulane, look, I understand Northwestern's not going to win the Big Ten, but there are worse picks than Tulane to be the group of five. After 1 week,
Tulane looked good.
That defense looked really good, and Retzlaff looked good. Ran the ball well.
Let's wait and see on the defense. Okay, Northwestern is just very limited with their weaponry on offense, but Retzlaff looked like he was a returning starting quarterback. I thought, and that doesn't happen by just a cram session for the last month and a half or late July, whenever he got in. They reduced the playbook, master those, and they ran those. But running the ball, getting the ball out quick in a pass game, he's a true dual threat. And he threw the ball well, he ran it well, and they got a guy. I mean, it was kind of a last minute deal, but maybe they didn't really like what they had before he fell in their lap. But he's a savior for this team because they got some other pieces. No, I just don't want to overreact to a defensive effort against Clinton. But they were so much faster than Northwestern, and they were getting chunk plays, Charlie, and not just one. It was a beating, man. They pulled their foot off the gas.
DraftKings Sportsbook agrees with you. They are actually the favorites, or they have the best odds of any of the Group of Fives at 4-1 to be the Group of Five school to represent them in the playoff.
I'm a big John Summerall fan. I think he's an excellent coach. And whatever you got to do to get your team motivated, get your fan base behind you is fine. But wasn't a logical explanation for Northwestern wanting to wear white jerseys is this is a team that trains in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, that is coming down to a hot, humid place and didn't want to wear black jerseys or purple jerseys and said, hey, no, we're going to wear white, rather than calling it a disrespect to New Orleans. I mean, that's the way I read it. Summerall went nuts in the post game and said, we requested to wear white jerseys because it was the anniversary of Katrina and they had jerseys made up, and of course you have to have the visiting team's permission. And Northwestern said no, and Summerall took it as a slight to New Orleans. I took it as they didn't want to wear black or purple jerseys in the sweltering heat.
You gotta have enough. I mean, that might have given them a little extra juice.
Yeah, so I'm saying, you coach, you do whatever.
I mean,
but I didn't. That's not the way I took it. So, if that's what motivates you, go ahead. It worked.
David Braun, the Northwestern coach, said it was. I think it had more to do with timing and communication. They didn't get the request till August 17th, and they said I think it was a little too late for them at that point. But
why they can't? It takes them 2 weeks to change shirts. He should have just said.
Did they not get the purple ones in? I don't know.
He should have just said we don't want to wear black or purple.
No, they didn't want to wear
in
it.
Humidity. Because we're used to training in the upper Northwest. That's a perfect explanation.
Yeah, Chicago.
It's not disrespectful to New Orleans at all.
On the shores of Lake Michigan. Yeah, they're going to have as tough of a. Boise had a tough one down in Tampa.
Oh, they melted in that heat. In the second half.
Chicago to
absolutely.
to New Orleans, man, for a 11 a.m. kickoff. Yeah,
a couple other in first class. I've been practicing now. Cal quarterback, Javon Kiwi Sagapulatelli. I'm pretty sure I got that right. True freshman against Oregon State, 20 of 30, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 30 yards on the ground. He is a left-handed quarterback. He's got a funky delivery. He pretty much throws it sidearm. but they responded to him. Watch those highlights. Watch the press conference after. They're excited about him. Cool little player at a school that how much is the deck stacked against Cal? How much are you going to put?
Well, they stacked themselves.
They did
against themselves a lot too.
But he was fun to watch. I'm
not as much as it stacked against their opponent on Saturday night in Oregon State. So it was at Corvallis. He's not like he's a Cinderella story. He's a highly recruited player that signed with Oregon, and he transferred out. We went back home to the Bay Area once the UCLA kid was coming over. He saw the handwriting on the wall. Who looked really Montana State? I get it, but looked really good for practicing against air, basically. Mm-hmm. But no, it's not like he's it wasn't like he wasn't on people's radar coming out.
First true road start.
Yeah, he had a really nice
road start. Hostile environment.
Corvallis, I guess, maybe. Didn't watch the game, but
I did.
I saw highlights. I heard he was good, but
he had a good game. I mean, let's not go crazy, but he had a good game.
But finish that off. It's in a hostile environment. And I'll tell you what, I didn't know when Notre Dame Miami was rocking Sunday night.
I heard from somebody at the game, it was like 90-10 Miami. Surprised me.
Tim told me 85-15 he thought going into the stadium. So, yeah. So, they had something to cheer about. Yeah.
One more quarterback I wanted to put in first class because he's had 2 good weeks now. Iowa State's Rocco Becht, 33 of 48, 461 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions through the first 2 weeks. Not the easiest transition to go all the way to Ireland, win a hard-fought game, come back and play in that sandwich spot against what is a good FCS school.
But I will say
he was 19 out of 20. You can't be better than that.
Not a good defensive team, though. Watch the game. Bet the team. It was gash after gash. They must have averaged over 10 yards at play. I mean, it was no resistance, man. We came back and tied it 7-7. I'm like, okay, we got points, No. I had the wrong side there, and the spot is impressive, though, because you get Iowa. I mean,
Iowa next week.
No, this week.
Iowa. That's what I'm saying. This week and the next week after you play this. You from Ireland, man.
That's one of the reasons I bet it. But yes, against Air and South Dakota, Charlie, they might be a nice program. They ain't worth a crap on defense. Well, trust me, they're not good.
Let's see what Beck does against Iowa.
No, but he's just followed it up, man. Take care of business.
Second class, good with a chance to be great. The one team that really fits in here for me is Tennessee and the quarterback, Joe Aguilar. They put up a bunch of yards. They put up a bunch of points. They gave up some points in the second half. Good. I want to see more. Aguilar, we talked about his numbers, that they had decreased first year to second year at Appalachian State. What would he do? He was far better than Nico in the first week. He's obviously got better supporting cast. Good. I want to see more. I don't know how
run more of your offense with him. And he wasn't like he made some bad throws too. There was some kinks.
He sailed some early, especially early.
But he puts air under his deep ball. You can push the ball vertically. You can run. He's a dual threat. So he's Nico's just way lopsided. He's a great athlete, but he is a challenge passer. And I'm sorry, the guy we love, He's going to have to improve his passing a lot. And also Shula's got to help him, Lenora Sellers at South Carolina, because he's not a straight drop-back pocket passer. Put him on the move. Put him on the threat to run. And make those safeties come. Give him some easier throwing opportunities, because straight dropbacks for him, it was ugly. After his first 50-yard touchdown run. But yes, I think they're excited. They did go after the TCU quarterback last night first. Dykes talks about it, says, man, this kid looks like he's been born to throw. It just comes out of his hand. And he does. He can make a lot of throws. He takes his shots. He's made some nice throws. But they went after him first. So this was not a given like this guy was going to be that good. But I think Tennessee fans are pretty pleased with the trade-off, ultimate trade-off, Aguilar for Nico.
They get the breather this week.
Don't you think?
Yeah, and they get the breather this week, and then Georgia comes in a week from Saturday.
Now, if Aguilar stays and he plays at UCLA and Nico plays, I mean, it's supporting cast is something to do with it. But I think that I just know, and he wasn't. They could just. There could be balance now. There could be balance. He just looks much more comfortable throwing the ball. He throws a more catchable ball too.
Let me go quick here. Utah, very impressive at the Rose Bowl late Saturday night. Want to see more there. Georgia Tech going to Colorado. Haynes King on the ground.
Ugly win.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're quite as good. We'll see. They ran for 320 against Colorado. Not sure. No class. Alabama. UNC and ugly first week offense. Jimmy, what was the final tally on the unders?
27-10-1.
Okay.
Now, two of those either got a good number or a bad number. They fell, including last night. It was 27.5. I talked to some people. They had 26.5. So they fall. It's the 24, 27, and 31 are hot numbers. 30, not so much because it's hard to get 3 touchdowns and 3 field goals the first half. But those, you better do your shopping. So do your shopping, like we suggest, 27-10-1.
See if that improves in week number 2. First class, second class, no class brought to you by Supreme Rice, a home opener this week. If you're tailgating, tailgate with Supreme Rice. Pick it up at Rouse's, pick it up at Walmart, pick it up at any of your AG food stores. The brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the parball, the jasmine rice, and support our Louisiana farmers as part of the Climate Smart program, ensuring future generations of Louisiana farmers are going to reap the benefits. They're talking about methane emission reductions, and water conservation. Save a little money with your Supreme Rice. Support our Louisiana farmers. For more information, go to the website at supremerice.com. Take a break, come back, wrap up hour number 1 live at Doe's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Doe's Live at Lunch. For those that are asking, the rankings are not out yet. Kind of thought they would be by now, but they held them for all of the games. I thought they'd be out kind of early this morning. I'll tell you what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, and LSU 3. That's kind of what I think this is going to be.
Who's the other candidates? Who before
Georgia?
Georgia might be ahead of LSU.
Oregon.
They shouldn't be. I mean, LSU should be number 1, but they're not going to be.
The teams that won that are in front of LSU besides Texas
Oregon,
and Penn,
besides Montana State, no.
Yeah, besides Ohio State and Penn State, the other teams that were in front of LSU before the weekend that won are Georgia and Oregon. And both of them beat
Marshall, Marshall, and
right.
Montana State.
I think they'll be behind Penn State because Penn State had so many first place votes. I mean, they had almost as many as Texas. They only had 2 less. So I think the people that had them there are going to keep them there. We'll see. Not that it matters a ton.
Maybe. Good thing it doesn't matter.
No, but we'll get them to you as soon as we get there. Hour number 2, straight ahead. Brian Kelly press conference coming your way at 11:40 today, and we'll be back to wrap up the show following that. We're at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City. Come on by and see us for lunch here in the Crown Town Room. Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And return here at Doe's. We're on a Monday schedule on a Tuesday because of the Labor Day holiday. We'll be going to the Brian Kelly press conference here in about 40 minutes. Andy Isco will join us in about 15 minutes from Las Vegas. Greg Bowser will join us after the press conference to give his thoughts on LSU's win against Clemson and what Brian Kelly has to say. Jimmy, with another day to digest it, and certainly given the overwhelming amount of attention nationally that this win has gotten, I'm not sure it's deserved, I think, based on how they performed. Any more thoughts about, what happened Saturday night from LSU's perspective?
Listen, the college football is going to be a lot different in November than it is in August, okay? But what you did see was on display in real time, not film, not reputation, not, beat writers practice and stuff like that. They're so scared of getting guys hurt in practice that it's hard to get together. But what you saw was so much talent and depth, speed that you have a chance. They have a chance to make a run, and so they're built to with the depth to handle some injuries. You're going to have wear and tear. They're built a little bit stronger than some of the other teams. And where they went, we still got to see where Clemson. For instance, Klubnik. Klubnik did it against Texas, okay? He was hot that day. But, I mean, is he a known, I mean, is he a trusted commodity? He's, that was everybody's last impression for him, so they expect him to just pick right up and play at that level. He's going to have his good days and his bad days. I heard a pretty good comp on him, too. Kind of a little Bo Nix to him. A guy that can run, but a little bit can make the throws, but get a little bit erratic with his arm at times. A little twitchy to a fault sometimes. Like good twitchy, but a little twitchy to a fault sometimes, or unsettled. But there are people that are just. This was the most impressive performance of the weekend. Where it was. And for all the situations, it's just downhill from here for the offense. That thing's gonna come around. I'll be very surprised. I mean, guy like Chris Hilton's gonna be a major factor when you don't have as many protection concerns as you do. I mean, he's gonna stretch that field, and you got guys. There's a Perkins looks natural again. I mean, the whole thing just. Kelly's got his best roster. Period. This is not even close.
After another day to digest this is what I came up with. And
is Andy on hold?
I thought you said 11:15.
No, he said 11 o'clock. Is Andy on hold, Jordan?
Okay, I thought he was going 11.
Andy, are you there? Okay.
This is what I came up with. Kelly says in the post game, the offensive line control the game in the second half. If that group is better, if that group is actually good, then you're talking about an elite level football team. If they can go out against a team that is in their home stadium with at least 2 first-round picks. Now, one of them played well, one of them didn't. But if you can go out there and you can control that line of scrimmage, then your offensive line is a lot further along than what we had thought.
You helped them, though, Charlie. You helped them.
Well, you can still do that in other games.
You can do that, but I mean, this was they did enough. I mean, they got some sacks, they got some pressures, but I mean, what was the average time where he released the ball? 2 seconds,
right at 2.2 seconds.
Okay, so how many? That's the average. So half of them over. I mean, I would say the majority were under that.
No, the pass protection, they're definitely skewing that because of the quick release. More the running game to me. They ran it enough. Now, they didn't gash them, okay? But they ran it enough to have really good balance, a 39-31 balance. Durham had enough good runs. They showed some creativity in the running game. Those are the things that I think you can really build on. Those were things that were not given. Nussmeier's kind of a given, okay? And some of these receivers have enough on their resumes to be givens. Anderson's made another jump, it looks to me like. But there were no givens in the run game. And even when you had Durham, the very first play from scrimmage, he makes a tremendous cut. He puts his hand down. He gets 25 yards out of it. I thought that they were able to run the football enough to keep it honest, to keep it balanced. And if they can do that, then they're going to really be hard to beat.
Well, sometimes teams get away with it. You always want to do it, especially when you're having protection, because Clemson didn't do it. And man, their protection was just overwhelmed when it became one-dimensional. They finished the game with like 19 straight throws.
19 straight passes.
I mean, they just gave up on it. So, you won it, and there you go. You saw one team that was just one team panicked a little bit, and when you fall behind, you could do it. LSU was never behind in the second half, right?
Well, it went. They
were
just
open-
started the third
open
quarter. It
the
was
same
10-3.
10-3.
To
And
start.
when was the latest? It was tied. When did they tie it?
They scored on the second drive of
So, like,
the
5
third
minutes in?
quarter. Yeah, about. And then they did score the go-ahead touchdown was a drive that started
What was
the third
their run?
quarter.
What was their run pass on that drive?
On the one that tied it or the one that went ahead?
Before they tied it. It's easy once you tied, and if you could see the flow of the game, you didn't think it was strength in LSU?
Absolutely.
I sure did.
Yeah, I did. The only thing I was worried about was that the momentum killer at the end of the first half when you didn't get points. But 2-4, 3-4, 3-5, 3-6, 4-6 run to pass ratio on the drive that tied the score.
So they stayed with it. They stayed with it, and Clemson didn't.
And the touchdown drive started out with the go-ahead touchdown started out with three straight runs, and then at the end of the game where they were trying to really run some clock, they run what essentially is a long handoff to Jawan Johnson. They ran three straight times. I mean, that's going to go down as a pass, but it's essentially a long handoff, and Nussmeier throws it really well. He reminds me a little bit of Matt Mauck. Mauck used to throw that bubble screen perfect. It's not exactly the same as when they ran it under Saban, but they ran that 3 times in a row, and Clemson couldn't stop it.
And I thought they cut it off at the right spot.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you want to do it till they stop it, but I mean, it was. Yeah.
And they tried to run it to the other side, and Clemson sniffed that one out. And that was, like I said, that was probably the only mistake that I thought Nussmeier really made the whole night. He probably should have eaten that one, but like I said, I'll give him one. Who cares? And then they got a little bit, like I said, creative. The Xavier Thomas piece, he had some creative runs, and then they ran the one reverse pass that was wide open.
Especially with all of your teams that have first-year starting quarterbacks, the learning curve is going to be longer for them. So if they can weather the storm through the first couple of months and stay alive, mathematically alive, and then kind of get it going, in November, well, then some teams might look differently. Tennessee can be a threat. Georgia, again, running a quarterback a lot, man, a lot. I mean, I think it's got to be almost like an in-state competition. Which quarterback's going to get hurt the first? Between Haynes King and Stockton.
Haynes King is used to that, at least. I mean, he's
done
it.
But he's done it a lot. He missed some time last year. I mean, it's you're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. I'm sorry. I mean, we like Haynes King. We love the coach. He's done a whale of a job. He's maxing out. Maybe it was a panic because that was just they're on the road. I mean, they turned the ball over 3 times their first 10 snaps or something. I mean, it was a disastrous start, and they still won the game. So I'm saying just get out of it, but you can't. He's going to take those hits. There are going to be teams that are going to hit him harder than Colorado did on Friday night.
You watched the Georgia game. I didn't get to see any of it. Were these design runs?
They were designed? He gives up. Even when he drops back to pass, he gives up on it too quick. It's not what you want to see against Marshall. You need to work on your passing game. Get the ball out your hand. So
his numbers weren't bad, but
that's fine when you can blow the people off the line. But it's almost like just a lot of running quarterbacks this year that should be a little further along, or at least trying. There's no reason Georgia's got to sweat the outcome against Marshall. The whole roster went to Southern Miss.
That's what I'm saying. Marshall had to turn the whole thing over. And look, the score. This one was never in doubt. Maybe it wasn't quite the dominant statistical show that you'd like to see, but it was 14-0 in the first quarter. It was 24-0 at the half. I mean, they were in control of this thing. Marshall got the one touchdown late.
But they're not going to be able to just hand the ball off against teams that, would
No, they got to be a lot better in 2 weeks against Tennessee.
You don't think their lack of passing game hurt them in the playoff against Notre Dame?
Absolutely, it did. And new quarterback there that was kind of thrust into it. No, when they go to Tennessee in 2 weeks,
it was different. It was different deal. Texas got blind. He got thrown in the middle of the Texas conference championship game, where Notre Dame had a chance to say, okay, we know what this guy's limitations. I just didn't. You gotta have. He was recruited heavily, but he's just not comfortable throwing the ball right now.
Still a bit of a gap in the SEC title odds. LSU plus 550, good ways behind Texas and Georgia, who are right around 3-1 at the DraftKings.
I'm sorry, but all of the values on LSU. I already took them at 7-1. So
plus 550. I mean, they're ahead of Alabama now, but that's just a slight adjustment, I would say, in the SEC.
And I'm going to tell you what. And he's a guy that he wasn't a problem for Alabama. Ty Simpson. He was not the problem. He was getting harassed. He played tough. He had a very similar game to your boy from Notre Dame. Okay? Now, there was and it just, he was running for his life a lot. He was getting hit. They were dropping balls. I mean, Williams dropped 3.
No, he got pounded the other night. Carr for Notre Dame, he did a lot of things. It reminded me of very early in Johnny Manziel's career where it's like, don't do that. Okay, well, it worked out. He's got a little something to him.
They were in desperate spots, so what's the risk?
Well, I mean, in the first half. The first touchdown, he turns backwards 3 times and then completes the touchdown.
He finished
pass.
way better than he started.
Yes, absolutely. He was better in the second half.
He finished way better than he started. Yeah, don't forget our friends over at Total Maintenance at AC wears down. You heard the horror stories about people calling and, we can't get to you for a couple of days. Well, they don't come for a couple of days. Not going to happen with Total Maintenance. 480-1000. 480-1000 is the number to call. We're one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest air conditioning and heating companies in South Louisiana. Hey, man, Lucas Ragusa has worked in every step of the operation. So from technician all the way up to owner, he knows how to assemble a good staff. He's a lifer in the industry. He is committed. He works hard as well. So our motto is nobody goes to sleep hot, baby. So service today, every day. That AC unit breaks down. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're also brought to you by the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, Highway 70 in Pierre Part. You're getting your tailgating accessories going for this weekend, the home opener, LSU and Louisiana Tech. Head on by the Pierre Part Store or the Thibodeau Store. Jimmy, you're so far ahead of the game on this, man. You made your trip a couple of weeks ago.
I went through one of them Iverstein steaks on the grill yesterday, so I had that, and with my green egg, and I got from the Thibodeau store. So got the wire brush, the tongs, the what else? We got the igniter, the electric starter. You got to have one of those. You're gonna have green egg. It's just it's a necessity. So yeah, ending tailgating. You join your own tailgating cooking. Hey, man, it's a must. Take a short drive to the Thibodeau store or the Pierre Part store. A lot of the stuff they can get shipped to you as well, but you get a lot of purple and gold stuff. Also, single, double, triple burners, fryers, every accessory where the plastic thing with the holes in it where you can shake that when you're frying fish and things like that. So, I mean, tongs, scissors, spoons. Everything you could have possibly think of. Outdoor cooking needs and then some. And then outdoor cooking needs and desirables, Charlie, are at the Thibodeau store and the Pierre Part store. And they're great, man.
Online, it's thethibodeaustore.com. Louisiana Tech comes in. They beat Southeastern last week 24-0. This game was 3-0 Tech at the half. Didn't exactly dominate the yardstick or anything. They scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. Southeastern had a couple interceptions. They also lost a fumble. So the turnover game was 3-0 in favor of Louisiana Tech. This was a really, really good program for a long time. A really solid team that, at times even gave some SEC teams some fits in some of the non-conference games. It hasn't been that program of late. They don't have a winning season since 2019. Sonny Cumbie's the former Texas Tech quarterback is in his 4th season. They've gone 3-9, 3-9, 5-8. They actually played in the bowl game last year when who dropped out or they didn't have enough eligible teams. So they were a bowl team at 5-7 last year. They lost to
Marshall.
Army.
Dropped out.
Marshall, that's right. They lost to Army by 3 touchdowns in the bowl game. So they finished 5-8. And, Jimmy, we know a little bit about
They're
this.
a little better this year, Charlie.
A little bit better?
They're better this year. This is his best roster since he's been here. He's had a rough go of it, but it's been a rough stretch for Louisiana Tech. Phil Steele picks them to make it to the conference championship game this year. So they did lose. They had their fair share of one-score losses last year, so they had a poor record in those that would have flipped it around. They're not the Louisiana Tech teams of old, but this is a better team than they've had the past, 4 or 5 years or so.
Yeah, Skip Holtz had them on a run where for about 6 years they averaged 9 wins a game. They won six straight.
Coach.
They won 6 straight bowl games, and they haven't. And I don't know if this is why, but they haven't been the same since the COVID year. They were 5-5 that year, but they have been. They've lost at least 8 games every year since.
118th in scoring last year. So, and they did not get off to a fast start. That's not totally uncommon. We're not going to overreact to that in the first half against Southeastern, but they did kind of pull away and win comfortably in the second half. Was it 3-0 at half?
At half, yeah. They scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. LSU is anywhere from 37.5. I've seen some 38.5s. They're a massive favorite, obviously, in the home opener.
I think Western Kentucky's going to be a tough team. It'll be the Liberty of Western Kentucky in that conference this year. Western Kentucky is moving the ball pretty good early on. They got a transfer. Another one of them transfer quarterback with the OC went with them.
Yeah,
the Bowling Green, like what happened to Utah and also Oklahoma.
LSU will see the Hilltoppers the week before Thanksgiving in Tiger Stadium. That's the final
home schedule
of the year. All right, we'll send you to the press conference, and then we'll be back on the other side. Greg Bowser will join us when we return. We're at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street here in Mid-City. Come by and see us for lunch. We're in the Crown Town Room towards the rear of the restaurant. Come by and get a terrific lunch here at Doe's Eat Place. We'll send you to the press conference. We'll be back on the other side, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we welcome you back in here at Doe's Eat Place following the Brian Kelly press conference. Greg Bowser joins us now. Greg, good to see you, man. Did you enjoy week 1?
Week 1 was good, Charlie. I got a chance to – I didn't watch the game live. I was out watching McNeese Cowboys play, but I did get a chance to watch the film on the game. And LSU did a great job of overall, I thought. You saw it on the offensive side of the ball. We were worried about the offensive line. I think they came together pretty quick. The other thing they did is they did a good job of slowing that pass rush down by using some screens to the wide receivers and getting the ball out of Gary Nussmeier's hand quickly. So all of that helped them, I think, on the offensive side. Defensively, hats off to Corey Raymond and his guys. That secondary played unbelievable football.
They really did. The pass rush in conjunction with the man-to-man coverage, and that it's been a sticking point for a number of years. And even in the passes that Clemson completed, and there was one ball that it comes out late after the receiver's down, and Herb Street on the broadcast says, I think that's a catch, not a fumble. And you look at it, and the receiver is draped with a defensive back on him. He makes the catch, and he gets the knee down before the strip comes out. Okay, had to work for that one, man. I mean, if every completion is going to be that hard, you didn't see people running free. You didn't see a quarterback with a lot of time to get comfortable and set his feet. That pass rush was fierce, and it came from a lot of different directions. So when you talk about what Blake Baker did, I think the blitz ratio was close to 65% of the time. So he got creative, and he was able to do that because he trusted his DBs to be in coverage even when he brought pressure.
Yeah, he figured he could play man behind that, coming with that blitz and getting after him. What really surprised me on the other side, too, for Clemson offensively is Kivnick didn't run the football as much as he normally would have. I mean, normally when you watch him in the pass, he'd scramble out and make a big play. Where most quarterbacks scramble and look to relocate and throw it, he would just take off and run. That didn't happen this past weekend. And again, credit to LSU because they kept him bottled up. And again, that secondary, when you can play man coverage, that much man coverage behind it, it helps you out.
I thought that there were a couple of times on the one scoring drive they had that he took off for a little bit, but the speed LSU's got. I mean, when Harold Perkins is chasing you, when Weeks is chasing you, P.J. Woodland comes clean on a corner blitz early in the game. He's not getting away from that guy.
No.
He can't outrun him. So they were able to do that from a lot of different angles. A couple things that Kelly said during the press conference. Number one. That they should have kicked the field goal at the end of the first half, which is in line with what we talked about, and it was simply because of the amount of time that was left on the clock.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't understand. I mean, what were you going to do if you went
if you
forward
made
and picked
it
up and you made it anyway? You would take a field
It's
goal.
an unnecessary risk for the same, a little bit shorter field goal attempt, unless you're going to take a risky shot to the end zone there. And he said it, but he misspoke there. The analytics. If your analytics don't include a time of the game, you throw it away.
Yeah, if analytics said to go for it.
He said to go for it,
Yeah.
but the time was, no. So,
No.
And listen, analytics prepare you. You have to have a chart, but you have to have a feel. You have to, mind flow. What was it a shootout or were yards tough in this game?
Right.
It was a low-scoring game.
Yards were
very tough.
Oh, okay. So,
all that matters.
We don't say on this show, take the points, because they just don't give you 3 by just saying, hey, we'll take 3. No, you got to go kick it. Yeah. And in college, college kids. So I'd take the attempted field goal, and he said this much.
And he overruled the analytics when they decided to punt late. And from the 40-yard line.
Punting from his own 40-yard line, I thought it was not,
That's exactly. I would have been 5.
Minus 40 plus 40.
Fourth and 5.
He's on the minus on his own 40.
Okay, absolutely not. So game flow trumps that.
Sure,
completely.
I felt very comfortable turning it over to the defense.
You thought
that
team was going to go 80 yards on them?
Absolutely.
Could they go 40?
Absolutely.
Then go 40.
They went. They got down to the 15-yard line. They made 2 big plays, so I give them credit for that. And look, on the third down, he did miss an open receiver. There was an open receiver but he didn't have time.
Yeah, and you've got to factor in how your defense is playing. I mean, they had him on the heels. Yeah, they had him on the heels the whole time. Clemson was on the heels offensively the whole time. So, you don't put your defense in the bad spot. You punt the ball, and like you said, Jimmy, let's see if you can go 80, 90 yards on them. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The play in question on Barry and Brown, he said they had a conversation with the Southeastern Conference, and just what we talked about yesterday and in the post game, which is, do you consider Barry and Brown a runner or a receiver before the goal line? Okay, if you consider him a runner before the goal line, then that's a touchdown. If you don't think that he has the ball secured until he gets in the end zone, then he's got to survive. He's got to survive the ground. Obviously, the officials didn't feel like he was in possession of the ball before he hit the goal line and before he hit the pylon. That's a judgment call. I asked a friend of mine yesterday, he says, is the league going to apologize for that? I said, no, it's a judgment call.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they missed it, but it's a judgment call. The league will come back and publicly reprimand or apologize for their referees if there is a rules violation. Hey, we should have stopped the clock and we didn't, or we stopped the clock and we shouldn't have. Stuff like that, or the rare occasion where you miss a down or something like that. They're not going to apologize for a judgment call. They're going to talk about it internally, and that's going to be that. I think they missed it, but it doesn't really matter. Greg, you watched it. What'd you think?
I thought, I'm with you. I thought it was a judgment call. I think they're going to have to maybe adjust the rules somewhat. Maybe that'll do it. But I think, if he'd called it a touchdown and let it went, it would have stood. So it didn't matter.
It depends on where you are.
Yeah,
the South Carolina receiver on Sunday, he catches the ball in the end zone. He's got to survive the ground there.
That's right.
Okay. If you consider Barry and Brown a runner that he has possession before the goal line, then as soon as he hits the pylon, it's a touchdown. They didn't. Okay. Too bad.
Really good throw and a really good catch. Yeah. I mean, when this guy, you might be part-timing as a wide receiver. He's he's the kickoff return guy and stuff like that. But, I mean, he's making catches like that. He's going to get more targets.
And one of the few times that they went single high the whole night. And I'm very curious to see how teams play LSU moving forward. Are you going to stay in a lot of too high looks because you are concerned? Chris Hilton didn't do anything in this game, but there was a reason for that. Brown, had some catches, but none over the top except for that one. Are they going to continue
Clemson later in the playoff? It might be different. You're going to have a totally different feel of your offensive line.
Yeah, I think
not this spot in the schedule.
No, I think if you play in LSU, you're playing with two high safeties and take your chances. I think you do. I don't think you get if you get in a single safety, you're gonna have some problems.
Because LSU is going to be able to go over the top of you.
Yeah.
And if that offensive line continues to get better. All right, what did you think of the O-line?
I thought the O-line played well. Really, really played well. I was concerned about some of the things that Clemson would do to him. One of the things that really shocked me is Clemson didn't play any games up front defensively. You didn't see a lot of end tackles, twists. Didn't see a lot of that to try to confuse some of the blocking assignments. They didn't do any of that. And they just tried to play it straight up, and LSU handled it. Hats off to them.
That's a good point. You didn't see a lot of exotic blitzes, and to be honest with you, kind of thought that you might against a new offensive line.
A new offensive line, make them adjust. It didn't happen, and LSU got comfortable. And once they got comfortable, that offensive line, they were sure of what they were doing. They just played well. And the other thing is on passing situations, the quarterback was not going to hold the ball very long. It was coming out. I mean, it was. He gets to hit that back foot, it's coming out.
Tom Allen's an excellent defensive coordinator, but this is his first game with this group. You're kind of feeling him out a little bit sometimes, and not all the time. Ohio State had a new defensive coordinator too on Saturday. He did just fine. But we've seen. Look, I remember very well Bo Pelini's first game here. That game didn't go too well.
No.
2 weeks later, he had it figured out, and that team, was very, very good. But that first week, he didn't really completely trust his personnel. They're playing a lot of zone, and it didn't work out at Arizona State. They made Arizona State look great. They adjusted. I suspect Clemson will be a lot better defensively.
Yeah, I don't think they'll see quite many teams in that conference that will have the athleticism that LSU, being an SEC team, has on the edges, the perimeter, the outside backers, and you got the Howard Perkins factor, and then the secondary, not just speed but length. And I think that created some issues for him in the passing game.
All right, let's talk about Perkins for a minute because he made a lot of several impact plays, none more than the last play of the game, but it wasn't the only one that he made. I said in the post game, I'm gonna try to forget the last 2 years and what they were trying to shoehorn him into, and just look at what he is now. And what he is now is a guy that, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I'm looking at LSU film, scares the hell out of me because I don't know where he's coming from, and I know he's one of the fastest closers I've ever seen. I don't know what he runs a 40 in, and I don't care. I just know that when he zeroes in on a player, he closes as fast as anybody in the game right now.
He does, and what you have to do when you're playing at Harold Perkins, and this is what Clemson did not do, is you have to adjust your offensive formations to force him in uncomfortable spots where he's got to maybe line up over a tight end, he's got to cover somebody, force him in the don't leave him out there with a tackle where he can have a free rush on that open side because he's going to kill you.
And I don't want to say I was surprised, but he was actually in coverage more times on Saturday than he was in.
But if LSU, they don't want him in coverage. And that's probably the weakest part of his game.
And see, that's kind of my point. I think it's getting better. I think it's better than the last time I saw him. Have to do that because they were comfortable dropping him. Yeah. You didn't see him trailing against UCLA last year before he got hurt. We saw some communication issues and some guys that were in the flats that were running clean. You didn't see that on Saturday night, and I think he's more comfortable at the position. I think Baker's more comfortable at the position, and I certainly know that they're getting more of a pass rush than they have gotten in the last couple of years.
Well, I think one of the things they're doing with him is they're saying, listen, we're going to line you up. You're not going to give you a whole bunch of things to check off. We're going to line you up, and this is what you're going to have to do. Pretty clear, you know what your assignment is, and go do it. Turn loose and go be a football player. As opposed to having to go through a process. Do I have to drop on this? Should I go over here? Should I go? Just line up. Here's what we're going to do. Make it simple, and then he'll get to it. I want to see what he looks like in about game 3 because then he'd really gotten comfortable by then.
I said yesterday, I saw a lot of speed, a lot less thinking. Like, not just him, just the whole team.
Yeah, I think they
And
simplified
especially
it for him.
him. He closed on Klubnik so fast. I mean, he caused the bad pass.
I think they simplified it, Jimmy. I think they said everybody has here's what you got, 1, 2, 3, and you see this and go. That's it. And you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about, am I in my drop zone? Am I in my coverage? Just turn them loose. And with a lot of really great athletes, that's usually the best thing to do is let them be instinctive where they can get after you.
And one more key: when you trust them guys to cover on the outside, single, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. And I thought Baker didn't just let it. He did throw some different looks and different pressures at them. I thought Klubnik, every time he broke the huddle, he had to identify what alignment LSU's defense was in.
Greg, you were an interior defensive lineman. Bernard Gooden, what we saw in the practice field translated into the game. Number 88 was noticeable, and for a defensive tackle to be noticeable on penetration and quickness is really something. What did you think of him?
Well, I thought what he did was he played downhill. He played going downhill. And that was the biggest key. Was not a lot of sit there, read and react stuff. It was here's what you're going to line up here, and we're going to play downhill. He's going to get up the field and cause havoc, and that's what they did. And so we'll see if they play like that going forward, because what teams do, the way you adjust to that is you're going to start getting a lot of traps and a lot of things, letting him come up the field and trap and run behind him. But if you let him just sit there and be able to play that way, I think that whole defensive front's going to be tough to deal with.
And I don't want to act like it's easy to do what he did. To play that position at 270 pounds now, where your offensive linemen on the interior are outweighing you by anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds, they get their hooks into you. Good luck. And he did not seem to have that problem. That get off is so quick that they had a hard time putting a body on him.
Yeah, quickness was his key, and the fact that, again, he's not going to just sit there and try to catch those guys, because those big guys will run right over you. And it's the move and keep him moving from side to side. And a lot of credit to Blake Baker and his staff, for coming out and doing all that.
What would you like to see in week 2? I mean, obviously they're a big favorite this week. It's not the same opponent, but what would you like to see?
Run the football. Offensively, just run the football. Just go on and beat them up. It's one of those where you try to play it in a phone booth. You're bigger, you're stronger, you're faster. Just beat them up. And it's a low-risk offense. Turn around, hand it off. Take control of the football game early so you can get your starters out of there and play some of your other guys going forward, because you're going to need them. That's what I think you do, both sides of the ball.
I keep that offensive line in there, even if you get some of the other starters out. I keep that offensive line in there a little bit longer. I'd get them some time. I want to see some of the other backs a little bit more in this game, obviously. But that offensive line, I'm going to get them some reps. I'm not saying I'm keeping them into the game in the fourth quarter, but I'm going to get them some reps.
I think if you look, the third quarter ought to be all of your backup guys ought to be in the ball game.
I would hope. I would hope. Don't want to take anything for granted, but I would certainly hope that that's the case as a 38-point favorite or whatever. Greg, always good to see you, man. We'll check in with you next Tuesday.
All right, man.
Thanks a lot.
Keep it up. Good luck, Greg. Come on. Let's go.
Right. Undefeated since you came.
Man. All you had to do is call me up,
now.
Jimmy. I got it, man.
We're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing, your one-stop sales and service shop for all of them. Since 1980, the slogan has been service today, every day. So nobody has to go to sleep hot. Full-service staff in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units. Generac and Cummings generators for all your electrical and plumbing needs as well. In Baton Rouge, 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Back to wrap it up when we return here at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up here today at Doe's Eat Place, the announcement of the passing of George Raveling at 88. One of the real pioneers in the sport, and of course his friendship and later his battles with Sonny Vaccaro at Nike and Adidas were just legendary. It's so many huge spots in the sport. Michael Jordan going to Nike, you can go watch the movie. The movie was pretty good, but Raveling was at Washington State. He was at Iowa. He's at USC, and then his involvement in the shoe wars. Him and Sonny Vaccaro for years.
I don't remember that.
Oh, they had a big fall. They were both working for Nike,
Okay.
and then they had the big falling out. In fact, they were. One of them was best man, the other one's wedding. I forget which one, but they were the best of friends. And then, they going through remember the old ABCD camps.
Sure.
They had a falling out. But Raveling was a real pioneer in a lot of ways. He passes away today at the age of 88.
Iowa and USC. He had baby Jordan at USC. Harold.
Oh,
Miner.
Harold Miner. Yeah. Well, you remember he and Sonny, at those ABCDs, that was when we got to see guys like Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard and LeBron James and all of these games that that they put together in these camps, and we got to know these kids before they even got to college age. But and Vaccaro's still alive. He is 86, I believe. So anyway, tomorrow we will be at Finbom on Burbank at Lee. Thanks to our friends here at Doe's Eat Place for being our host today. For Jimmy, for Max, for Greg Bowser, and for Jordan Kinchins back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.